Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS-FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS-FANS. Let's get to the news. Now folks, let's talk about what's been making waves lately in Browns Nation, because it's not just about the games or the roster moves anymore. There's a lot of buzz around our young rookie quarterback, Shador Sanders. Yes, you heard that right, Sharpe Sanders, the promising quarterback who many believed could be a pivotal piece for Cleveland's future. But as with many young talents stepping into the NFL, the start hasn't been exactly smooth sailing. And honestly, that's putting it lightly. You see, Shedeur Sanders, the son of Hall of Fame cornerback Jayden Sanders, entered the league with a lot of hype. Coming out of college, he was projected as a first-round pick, a guy with incredible talent, a gunslinger with a big arm, and enough charisma to become a franchise quarterback. But the draft process was complicated. After a lot of speculation and buzz, Sanders surprisingly fell all the way to the 5th round. Now, in the NFL, falling that far is never a good sign, especially for a player with his profile. It immediately raised questions about his character, his readiness, and whether he could handle the pressure of pro football. And unfortunately, the first few weeks of his rookie season haven't done much to dispel those doubts. What's caught people's attention, unfortunately for all the wrong reasons, are his off-field issues, specifically his run-ins with law enforcement. Over the past couple of weeks, Sanders has been cited twice for speeding tickets. Yes, speeding tickets. That might seem minor to some, but in the world of professional sports, especially for a rookie trying to make his mark, it's more than just a traffic violation. It's about perception, discipline, and how he's managing himself off the field. And trust me, Browns fans, these incidents have sparked a lot of concern, not just because of the legal trouble itself, but because they feed into the narrative that Sanders might not have the maturity or the focus needed to succeed at this level. Now, I want to clarify something right off the bat. Sanders has been very vocal about his mistakes. He's not trying to sweep this under the rug or pretend it's not a big deal. In fact, he took to social media, posting a video at a charity softball game hosted by Browns tight end David Njoku to address the situation. In that video, he openly admitted that he's made some wrong choices, that he's aware of the mistakes, and that he's learning from them. It's a mature approach, at least on the surface. He said, "I've made some wrong choices, I can own up to it. I learned from them." It's important to recognize that even in the NFL, players are constantly under a microscope, and their ability to own their mistakes and grow from them can be the difference between a career that soars or one that stalls before it even really begins. But here's where things get more complicated. Sanders didn't just stop at admitting his mistakes. He also addressed his speeding violations directly. He said, "You know, I made some wrong choices personally. I gotta own up to them. I made some not great choices." It's a straightforward acknowledgement, and it's good to see that level of accountability. However, the reality is that actions speak louder than words, especially when it comes to NFL teams and their management. So far, neither Sanders nor the Browns organization has issued any official statements beyond that social media post. The silence from the team is telling, and it leaves fans wondering, how serious is this? Is it just a rookie mistake, or are there deeper concerns about his character? What makes the situation even more problematic is the fact that Sanders failed to show up for his first court hearing related to the speeding ticket from June 5th. Missing a hearing like that, especially for a young player trying to establish himself, is not a good look. It raises questions about his professionalism, his respect for the legal process, and his ability to handle responsibility. These issues are especially sensitive given that Sanders is fighting for a roster spot, and more critically, for a chance to be the starting quarterback. The Browns invested a lot in him, and a lot of fans have high hopes, but these off-field concerns threaten to overshadow his on-field potential. And let's be honest, Browns fans are no strangers to the importance of character in building a winning team. The organization has historically valued leadership, discipline, and accountability, traits that, if absent, can derail a rookie's career before it even takes flight. Shador Sanders, despite his talent, is now facing a critical crossroads. The NFL is a league that doesn't forgive easily when it comes to off-field issues, especially for players who are still trying to prove they belong. The competition for the starting quarterback position is fierce. Dillon Gabriel, a fellow rookie, already has a leg up in terms of draft capital and experience. Meanwhile, veterans like Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett bring stability, leadership, and a history of staying out of trouble, which makes their presence valuable assets for the team's locker room and on the field. If Sanders doesn't show a significant turnaround, if he doesn't demonstrate that he's capable of handling himself maturely and responsibly, the possibility of him being cut from the roster becomes more than just a hypothetical. It's a real concern among Browns insiders and fans alike. The franchise's future, especially with a potential playoff run or even a deep postseason, depends not only on talent but also on character. And right now, Sanders' off-field issues are casting a shadow over his talent. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture here. The Cleveland Browns, for those who follow closely, are in a unique position. They've been building for a strong contender for years, with a roster that includes stars like Myles Garrett on defense, and a promising offense led by new additions and some promising young players. The arrival of Deshaun Watson last season was seen as a major step toward playoff contention, and fans have been dreaming of a deep run. But consistency has been elusive, partly due to injuries, some coaching changes, and yes, issues with discipline and focus. Sanders' arrival was seen as a potential game changer, an exciting, dynamic quarterback who could inject new energy into the offense. For Browns fans, the hope was that he'd develop quickly, learn from the veterans, and become the face of Cleveland's future. But the reality is, he's got a long way to go, and these recent troubles are a stark reminder of how fragile that process can be. If he's serious about making an impact, he'll need to turn things around fast, show maturity, and earn the trust of the coaching staff and his teammates. The Cleveland coaching staff, led by head coach Kevin Stefanski, is known for its focus on discipline and character. They've built a reputation for developing players, but they also hold high standards. If Sanders continues to make mistakes, especially legal or behavioral ones, he risks losing the opportunity to be a starter, and worse, he could find himself off the team entirely. It's a tough lesson, but one that many young players have had to learn the hard way in the NFL. Looking ahead, the Browns have a lot riding on this season. They have a talented roster, a solid defense, and an offense that has shown flashes of brilliance. But to take the next step, they need a quarterback who can lead, stay focused, and be a positive influence in the locker room. Sanders' off-field issues are a distraction, but they also serve as a test of his maturity and commitment. Will he rise to the occasion? Can he learn from these mistakes and prove to everyone that he's the future leader Cleveland needs? That's what everyone's waiting to see.